Dungeon Master Hotline. How can I help you?
Hello, big man.
What's
I
up, bud?
have some bad news.
Oh no.
I rolled a nat 1 on persuasion. I failed all my death saves shortly after,
Oh boy.
and I need some advice.
How
Okay.
do you recover?
I don't know at this point. Long story short, I've been having problems. I've come to you before for some advice. I've tried to implement that advice, which some of it worked.
Okay.
Some of them they weren't too keen on, sadly, which I was kind of upset about because it seemed like good advice.
Okay.
Um, I ran into a problem with my party that
Mm-hmm.
I've been DMing for roughly two years now. Um, I finally told them something that's been bothering me, which I don't know if other DMs in chat might have the same issue. It is interrupting the game to not agree with the DM's call, which I understand sometimes. Some things might, like rules might get convoluted or misinterpreted, but I finally told him I'm going to be more stalwart. I'm going to be more heavy handed in my rulings during game. And I would enjoy, probably not the best way to call him, but I said I would appreciate if the peanut gallery didn't always chime in to quite literally stop the game for half an hour to an hour to discuss a ruling. When we're all adults, we all know how it is. You don't have all the time in the world to play D&D, especially when you only get to play maybe once or twice a week. That's where the nat 1 on persuasion went. Um, Disagreed with my party. I have, after working on a D&D server for roughly 2 years now, I have been kicked from the server. I've been unfriended by my entire party, and I don't know if I did the wrong thing.
Oh boy. Well, that escalated quickly.
Yeah,
You
I
were.
understand probably calling them the peanut gallery and saying some things probably wasn't the best, but it's just how I truly felt because they didn't always argue with every ruling, but it really kicked off as some people have said, we tried different systems. So I recently took a break from my main game that I got some advice on, and we ran like I don't know if anyone in chat has ever played them growing up, but we ran a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon themed game. Even going as far as I spent 2 weeks homebrewing up rules for the game to match the Pokemon system, like the damage types and everything like that. And I specifically warned them going in. I was like, this is probably one of the more heavily probably the most heavily homebrewed games I've ever ran. And to be willing to understand that if I switch things up going ahead, it's because I'm doing it for them. Um, I have never used the massive damage optional rule, which is like, take twice your health, you insta die. I had a player fall under them circumstances, and I was like, well, you're unconscious. I stated that twice, and everyone in the party was like, well, doesn't there a rule that says he's dead? There's a rule that says he's dead. And so they started fighting me on that, and I was like, I really think he should just be unconscious. I kind of warned you guys that with double damage being quite a common thing when you're dealing with fire, water, dark, psychic, and all that other stuff, um, you're going to take more than your health sometimes. And since it's Pokemon, it's not always that serious. I was trying to be more of a laid back game so I could get some downtime while I was doing story writing and plots and stuff like that. But they were very adamant on running this rule in this game that I was running. Probably my next mistake was I offered the player, I was like, I want you to be unconscious, but I will ask you right now, do you want this character to die? And he was like, I don't really care about the character, so yeah, he's dead. Just rip the sheet. Which I don't know if as a DM you should give your players that power, but like, I don't know. I try to be more lenient with my players. I try to be understanding. Some of them have only been playing since I've worked on that server for about a year and a half, 2 years. Some of them as little as 6 months. I've tried to tell them to, like Chad is saying, I've tried to tell them, do it in private, wait till we have break 2 hours in, or wait until after session. But some of them, like, I'm not going to sit around and bite my lip for multiple hours when I don't agree with something. So I guess I need some advice of where I go from here. I need some advice to know, did I make a mistake as a dungeon master? I like to think myself as experienced. We've had chats before. I've asked you guys stuff. I've asked the community stuff. So I'm gonna mute. I'll give myself some break, and I need some words. I need that persuasion check right now.
Okay. It sounds like you need to be more firm. It's not really a discussion. So what I do is if I'm running something and a rule comes up and somebody says like, oh, the rule says this, I'm trying to think of an example. We'll do the massive damage rule, for example, because I don't run that rule. So let's say in your scenario that we're in combat, and I'm like, okay, you take 100 points of damage, you drop, you're unconscious. Next person, and then somebody pipes up and they says like, well, actually, aren't they dead because of the massive damage rule? First of all, listen to them. You want to make sure that they feel heard. Otherwise, that's the best way to start an argument, is just to like act like you didn't hear what they said. Like argument starting 101. Don't listen to what people are telling you. So listen to them. Like maybe even repeat it back to them if you have to. But massive damage. You say, oh yes, the massive damage rule. I am aware of that rule. I don't use that rule. We're not going to use that rule going forward. Next person in the initiative, and that should end right there. That like I've had that conversation on many different rules callings, and it's never gone back. Like I've never had like a second like, well, actually we should, because at that point it's like, well, maybe we should run it that way. And it's like, well, you can run it in your game. Like you just got to shut it down. Like it shouldn't even be a discussion, right? I would have to hear the conversation in context, but just be firm with them. Tell them like, hey, I'm aware that this rule exists. Thank you. Here's an inspiration for your vigilance. But I don't run that rule. I don't like that rule. I don't care for it. So we're not going to use it. Moving on. That should be like 5 seconds. Done. And if they continue, now they're in the wrong.
Okay.
Because it's like, it's like, I'm trying to imagine like the scenario where they continue. And at that point, you got to be like, I mean, you just got to like ease on the gas a bit. You got to be more and more firm. Like the more you got to say like, I'm aware of the rule. It's my game. I'm not looking for any advice right now. I've run this rule before. I don't like it. I've seen it. It's not for me. So we're not using it. Why? And then at that point, you could just call them out directly. Like, why are we still having this conversation? And you could back it all the way up to, okay, so who's response? Like you could back that conversation up all the way to, okay, so we have a table full of people. One of us has to be in charge of the rules. Who's it going to be? I think it should be the DM. I'm gonna raise my hand. What do you guys think? You guys think it should be the DM? Okay, so here's my call. It's never gone that far with me, but there's been plenty of times where people have been like, well, the rule is actually this, and I'll go, oh yeah, it is that. One thing that I will do is if we're in the middle of combat and like there's momentum that I don't want to lose, if somebody brings up a rule that I'm unsure about or that I've forgotten or that they think that I did wrong, my go-to is to get me a page number for an inspiration. I offer anybody that will get me a page number in inspiration or a tweet from Jeremy Crawford for a rules clarification. That sets them aside. That gives them something to do while other players are taking their turns. It's not a discussion because we could just go back and forth about a rule we disagree on. That stops it from taking up too much time. It gives them an incentive. You get to learn with a page number. They get an inspiration. Everybody's happy. But that's only for rules that you're unsure of. If you want to just make it, it's like sometimes I'm unsure of the rule and I'll just make a decision like, oh, I'm not sure if you can take a bonus action when you're in cap. So I'm just going to say, no, you can't. Or just the other night, I couldn't remember if you could get a bonus action in cap. That's why I use that example. Just the other night, I couldn't remember if you get a bonus action with in cap. So I was like, so yeah, you get your bonus action, go for it. You're in cap, but you get a bonus action, go for it. And somebody was like, I don't think you get your bonus action with in cap. I was like, give me a page number for an inspiration. Moving on.
Okay.
My other advice would be that you were kicked. You were like vote kicked from the group and kicked out of the Discord. Go find new friends. It didn't click.
There wasn't a vote. I woke up that morning and my Discords was missing several servers.
Go find new friends, bud. That's the blunt. I mean, I'm going to put it blunt.
No, you're right. You're right.
Can't get along with everybody. I'm not even like, I'm not even going to choose sides. I don't know who's right. And I can tell you, it doesn't matter who is right. Go find friends that you agree with.
Okay.
You don't have to be obligated. Like, you don't have to bend to them and they don't have to bend to you. Go find new friends. There's tons of them. It's a whole Discord full of people. I'll be your friend. Message me later. I'll be your friend. Because it sounds like these people like didn't care.
A lot of them started dropping off, sadly. I think a lot of them started stopping losing interest in the game and such things like that, which is quite a sad thing because like I kind of raised two of them to be VMs. I took them under my wing, taught them how to run the game, stuff like that. Um, just as a follow up question, where do you lie on the whole the DM is the final say? I think you've already kind of stated it, but where do you draw the line on that, and how do you not act like a dictator when it comes to it at the end of the day? Because like I got called a dictator during the conversation, so like I'm trying to avoid that. But I was like, it literally says in the book you need to respect your DM at the end of the day. They're running the game, they're putting up what they're doing the most work, quite literally, by having monsters, having interactions, everything. I'm everyone else in the world besides the singular person you're playing. You got to give me some respect.
You know what? I want to play this out. I can't visualize this conversation going this specific way. So listen, I'm going to be the DM and I want you to be the problem player that is like disputing.
Okay.
All right. So go for it.
He just took 58 damage. He should be insta dead. That's twice his health.
Yes, I am aware of that rule and I don't use it. So we're not going to be using that rule.
You said they were extra hostile in this area. That doesn't make any sense.
I said what? They were extra hostile?
Yeah, you told us we were in the a little bit more of the mouth of the beast going into the bandits camp. Why are they not just insta killing us?
Well, they're not insta killing you because there could be use for you being alive. Hostile doesn't necessarily mean that you have to die. Yeah. If you want, we can go. They can, kill on sight.
I just don't agree. I think they should just kill us.
Okay. Well, if you attack first, they will certainly turn hostile. So, initiative?
Initiative.
All right. Surprise round. Go ahead.
That one. Okay. I think I'm getting what you're putting down here. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. You've really cleared this up for me. Gave me some good wise words. One question for the community itself. I've been out of the loop. I just started a new job, so I haven't been able to watch a lot of the streams and doing this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Has the community brought up anything about doing something for Halloween coming up?
I have not. I kind of want to do
an assault on Ravenloft, a werewolf hunt.
I kind of want to do a Strahd Must Die this year. I say this every year and I never do it, but I really want to. But no, there hasn't been a discussion yet.
Okay. Because I had completely prepped a Halloween session, and since I have no one to run it with, I guess the server will be where I post my ad now. But I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you as always. Nat 20 on the wisdom, the persuasion, and I really appreciate the community and you, man.
You take it easy, bud. Thanks.
You too, big man. Keep up the good work.
What a homie. Dictator, my dude, you're a DM, you're a judge's table. You do dictate. Overly hostile players deserve the boot. The first moment they start to confront me, I'll say, all right, let's solve this after the session. We can talk. That pretty much like that interaction, that's basically how that would go. I don't want to speak for Klein, but it felt like even Klein was like, I don't know where to go from here. It felt like even Klein, when he was role playing that problem player, didn't know where to go. Where there, it's like, oh, okay, like it felt like that's not a dig at you, Klein. If you're still in here, it just like, I mean, it shuts it down. It shuts it down so easy. It's like, just gotta be civil. Because you notice like the more they press, the more they look like the bad guy. Like the more awful they look. If you just like, yes, I understand that's the rule, but I don't like it, so we're not doing it. Yeah, the bandits are hostile, but I mean, there may be use for you. I just don't know how to argue with a DM. You don't know how to argue with a DM. Should I do it? Should I do a video on how to argue with your DM? That would be a fun one. I think I would have fun with that.